Alessandro Laio. My name is Alessandro Laio. I work in SISSA in Trieste, in Italy. SISSA is a PhD school, a graduate school. Is one of the two graduate schools that we have in Italy. So we have only graduate students. We have several different PhDs opened in our institute. And one of these PhD is a PhD on data science.
Well, Alessandro, we can't see you.
What, pardon?
We cannot see you.
Can you see me?
No,
Yes. Yes.
I only
Yes.
see your picture.
Yes. Can you see me? Did you
yeah,
hear
yeah,
what I was saying or not?
Yes, I hear.
All right, good. So I just wanted to say that here in SISSA, we just started a brand new PhD on data science and machine learning with a particular flavor, with a particular physics flavor, because we are a physics department, in fact, and so we try to address data science and machine learning with a very, very quantitative attitude. So the course that I'm going to teach, which is going to start in November, will be dedicated mostly to unsupervised learning, and it will include also some of the topics I'm working on at the moment, which is mainly developing tools for let's say, selecting automatically the best manners of describing a molecular systems. So I very much look forward to see all of you. Unfortunately only online and maybe live this spring. Have a nice time. Thanks very much for inviting me.
Thank you very much. Yeah,
Thank you. Thank you.
Does anybody have questions for Professor Alessandro before he goes? Alessandro, I have a question for you. How would we join online? You send us the Zoom link? Okay.
Zoom. I will send you a Zoom link, but then I will, of course, also record the lectures. So in case of any problem, I was actually considering, well, in a way, since I'm afraid there will be lots of students and I will partially have to give this course also live. There will be students following my lectures directly from the room. Okay. Maybe I could actually dedicate, well, some dedicated question time for this school. That's what I was thinking to do. That maybe we can, yeah, decide together, yeah, an hour or two every week in such a way that if you have specific questions, you are, well, you are always allowed to ask, of course, but this will be, let's say, dedicated to all of you.
Okay. Thank you very much. So I assume you'll be using Jupyter, or it doesn't matter?
Well, for the exercises, I will give exercises which then can be solved with the tools that you like. Okay. Let's say the big majority of students I'm working with at the moment work with Jupyter Notebook, but this is not compulsory. The important thing is that you finally are able to solve the exercise.
Okay. Okay. Thank you very much, Alessandro. Is there anybody that knows some things about unsupervised machine learning that wants to ask a question? Like a simple question I want to ask Alessandro is this: does unsupervised learning help to get rid of the need to put in hyperparameters?
Well, of course, yes. Okay. The thing is that the distinction between supervised and unsupervised learning is just a convention, and in many cases, actually, unsupervised method require a lot of domain knowledge to make them work properly, no? So while so these are categories that we like to make, if one thinks about an unsupervised learning method as a black box, then, well, this person is going to meet a very strong delusion soon, because there is a lot of a lot of playing around with parameters involved also in unsupervised learning.
Okay. Okay.
Can I ask my question?
Yeah,
Hey,
sure.
please go ahead.
Okay. Based on supervised learning, I know that there are some algorithms that are for supervised learning. Can I know the algorithms that are best working for some kind of data? Suitability of algorithms to some kind of data.
Well, so the question is which, so as you correctly said, there are many different algorithms which go under the big hat of unsupervised learning. And what I will actually try to teach in my course is also which algorithms you should use for a specific data. The answer, well, in a way, there is no simple answer to this question. So it strongly depends on
The kind of data.
The kind of data. I will try, of course, to give some guidelines. And yeah, moreover, well, clearly my course, there is another important thing. My course is a pretty massive course with many lectures which are, yeah, a little bit technical. I don't think it's necessary that you follow all of the lectures. I think at a certain point where they have sent you, or we're going to send you a full list of lectures, I will actually highlight the ones that are really important, especially if you want to do data analysis on material science, which is one of the focuses of this school. Other lectures are a little bit too technical. So, but let's say that within, so the method that for sure I will teach are methods for dimensional reduction, like principal component analysis and kernel principal component analysis, and methods for unsupervised classification, in particular clustering. So we will spend yeah, a few lectures really introducing to you manners of classifying a large database. And then which classification algorithm you should use, well, this is something which depends on the type of data that you have, in a manner which we will try to make clear.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Dear Prof, I have a question.
Okay.
About, I think that the big difference between supervised and supervised machine learning is the annotation of data.
Yeah.
And classification.
Correct.
So
Yes.
the big problem, I guess, in material science is the annotation of data and for choose the right model, and I think that.
No, this is absolutely correct. Well, this is exactly what we are going to discuss in the first introductory lecture. Yeah, what are the key differences between supervised and unsupervised methods? But this, well, what I said before is simply that it's not that unsupervised methods are black boxes. They all are require making choices, fixing hyperparameters, and some degree of domain knowledge in order to make the things work.
Okay, many thanks.
You're welcome.
Okay. So thank you very much, Alessandro.
And thanks to all of you, and see you soon.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Yeah.
Bye-bye. See you soon.
Ciao. Okay, so now let's continue with today's lecture. And does anybody have a question from the 7 questions? Does anybody have a question? Okay.
Yes, I do.
Okay. Which one do you have a question with?
Question 7.
Yes, so question 7, you should tell us.
So I think the both operators are correct, but I think that might be error. I don't know. Maybe the space or I don't know.
Thank you.
When you run it, did you get errors?
No. I didn't. I don't think we're not supposed to run it. Are we?
No. It's
Yeah.
only
Just visualize
No.
the question and
no.
then tell
Okay.
if it's valid or not.
Okay, wait. So there are some of the questions that I wrote. You should tell what the output is without running the code.
Yes.
This
So I
one is
think.
not. This number 7 is not one of them.
Oh, okay. We can run the code.
Yeah, number 7, you can try it. Actually, this is the only way to know.
Okay.
You try it and see the error.
Okay.
I'll prefer if you email your solutions to me.
Okay.
To us at MLESMD@IFR.org.
Okay. So I thought question 7 is something you just have to look at and then decide.
No. Question
I'll
7. Yeah, you have to try it and see if it runs or whichever it gives you and things like that.
all right. Okay, thank you.
Okay, so I think we can.
So what we're submitting? We're submitting a Word document or
what?
Or we're submitting a Python document or what?
Yeah, Python document. Question number 4, you should answer, but just put them in the comments in the Python document.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Because it tells you something like, if you run it, what output do you get? So you just put a comment and then tell what the output is for A, B, C, D, E, F.
Oh, okay.
Question 5 also, I think you just have to answer it and tell what is wrong with the assignment statement.
Can I
Okay.
answer this question?
Yes.
Yes, I think we cannot write 1 before the number 1 should come after.
No. Nashua.
Yes.
You should put it in the script and send your solution. Because some people are still working on it.
Yeah, I'm still.
Thank you.
So
Okay.
we should put it aside for now. We'll do it later and submit.
Yes, please.
I have a question.
Yeah.
For the question number 7,
yes.
the brackets you are asking, for example, you gave an example using X.
Yes.
Did you notice that X is also in the code, or is just a random example, or you mean X?
Oh, yeah. So X should already be in the code.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
because if you just type just that line, X /= 8, then it's going to tell you that X is undefined. So you should first of all, yeah. So this is part of what I mean that you have to test the code. So you have to think of yourself. So if you get X is undefined, then the problem is not with the operator. The problem is actually that you did not define X.
Yeah. I already submitted my answer. I was just like, because if you do it with X or Z, you will have different answers from the program.
No, you have the same answer.
I mean, X is already defined in the code.
Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah. So X was just any variable, but yes, you need to already define X. If you do it with Z, you will get that Z was not defined.
Yeah, that's okay.
So
Great.
I want to say something about there is a space between X and the /. Should we also consider that, or is okay? Or doesn't matter?
Okay. Actually, it doesn't matter, but it's good to put a space in this case. But don't put a space between the slash and the equals.
Okay, yeah, I know.
Okay,
right.
good.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, sure. Okay, so today we'll do.
Hello.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Please, I joined late, which means, through which means did you send the question, please? Sorry.
I sent it by email.
Okay.
I sent it by email.
One, I tried to open attachment there. Maybe I've not opened that one. The one I opened is instructions. The Python.
Oh no, yeah. It says Python, but if you go to page 2.
Okay.
Then page 2 has this starts with the 7 questions.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, the second attachment.
No, there's an attachment I sent today. It says is Python _2.doc. Is a doc file, Windows doc file, Microsoft Word file.
Okay, doc2.doc. Okay, I think I've seen it.
Okay, good.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yeah, so let's start today with what I want us to start today with. Or rather what I want us to continue with. So we're going to continue today with data types in Python. So if you look at this schedule, we've done variables and operators. So I think we might finish data types today, although we have 40 minutes. And then tomorrow we start working on interactive programs and conditional statements. Okay, so I think we are still on track. So, sorry, I was supposed to share my screen at that point. So I share my screen. Yeah. So we've done installing and using Python. Ideally, you wrote your first Python program, Hello World, and we did variables and operators yesterday. And today we'll do data types: integer, floats, strings. Those are easy. Then we do list, tuples, and dictionary, which are interesting. And then I think tomorrow we can start our interactive program because we only have like 40 minutes today, and I don't want to take more time than we should. Okay, so I want to open the IDLE. So today I'll just focus on Windows. The reason is that Linux people are very good. They don't really need any help from anybody. They don't really need any help from anybody. So I'll behave as if everybody uses Windows. So of course, so I go to start. You can either do IDLE, and then it should come up for you. Or if you like, you see that already I have it in my start menu. IDLE Python 3.8. So I think everybody can see this. Okay. So like we said yesterday, if you keep typing the different things, in here, when you close this page, so if I do 2 greater than 3, this is false. And I do 11 times 4. Okay. If you keep doing this, once you close the page, everything goes. So what you should do instead, you go to File, which I think everybody did. You go to a new file, you create a new file, and then it gives you this, and you can save this. This is day2. So this is a comment because I put a hash. Of course, I can also use 3 quotes to make the comment. So I'm supposed to save. So I'll save it as day2. So we are going to do data types in Python. Although you don't have to tell Python which kind of data you are dealing with, but in a way, Python still keeps track of them. So the first kind of data we'll talk about are integers. Okay, so we are all scientists. We know what integers are. Okay, so this is negative integers, and also positive integers, and also 0. So it includes 0, 10, 1 million. So integers like that. So this is one type of variable. You don't have to declare it. Okay? Python will take different ones, and it is smart enough to know what variable you are trying to declare. Okay? And the way you declare variables, a variable is just the same way that we showed yesterday. So you declare it, say user age equals 20. So this is a variable. So user age is the variable. The value of the variable is 20. So in this case, because I set it to be 20, then user age is referring to an integer. Okay. So what you set it to is what determines what is referring to. If you do now user age equals 20.0, the first one, user age, is an integer. This second one is referring to a float. Okay, floating numbers. These are numbers that have decimal points. Okay, we'll do that later. Of course, I shouldn't say user age is 20.8. I should say user weight. So let's say the user weight is 20.0. We'll do that later. So an integer is user age. The person's mobile number. So you could do this. And then you can put someone's mobile number. And the 0 will not be significant. So if I do this, so the 0 will not be significant. So you will have to actually do something like this. Something like this, okay? So these are all integers. Excuse me. Then of course you have floats. Excuse me. So these are numbers with decimal points. So it could be something like 1.2345. It could be negative also. So you all know what these are. 14.21 and so on. Okay. So you can have it as patient temperature, and I don't know, maybe 36.7 degrees Celsius. There's it. Okay, when I wrote 36.7, there was a temptation to put degrees Celsius, but unfortunately, when you do compute this programming, you can't put the unit. You just have to put just the value. So patient temperature is a variable that holds a floating number. So this is a variable that holds a floating number. And the reason I know it holds a floating number is because the last thing it held was a floating number. So if I do this, patient temperature equals 37. Okay. At this point, patient temperature is holding an integer. Okay. And then Python allows you immediately to change without declaring the type. So if you are doing, say, Fortran or C, you have to do something like this. Int patient in temperature equals 37. So you have to declare it. But in Python, you don't have to declare it. Once you put the value, then it knows whether it should be integer, float, and other things. So I can put patient temperature. This one I'll comment out. Now I'll remove. Okay. We could put someone's height and everything. The third one we look at is strings. So a string is basically some characters that you write down. Okay. So if strings are just the way you declare strings is you put whatever it is that is a string, you put it in quotes. Okay. So I can say username, like we had before, is Peter. You could use double quotes or single quotes. Sometimes you will need to use double quotes. Okay, later on you may see an example. But typically you can use single quotes or double quotes. So username is Peter, equals Peter. So Peter here is a string. I know it's a string because I put it in quotes. Okay. If I do this, I do this, see, in this case, you may think user age is referring to an integer, but it's not referring to an integer. It's referring actually to a string. Who can tell me why this is referring to a string? Let's say user age 1. Okay, let me do 3 things. User age 1, user age 2, and user age 3. Okay, so let's look at all of this. So user age 1 is referring to, which one of them is referring to a string? The answer is the first one, user age 1. Why do you think it's referring to a string? I told you it's referring to a string. Why do you think it's referring to a string?
Because
How is it different? Exactly, because of the quote. Yeah, because of the quote. User age 2 is referring to what?
Is to integer.
An integer, exactly. And user age 3 is referring to what?
Float. Float, yeah.
Yeah, to a float, exactly. Okay. The other thing now is, okay, don't be afraid of Pythons, of Python. So Python, if I tell you to add 2 numbers, if I say user age 1, well, 1, sorry, let's, because user age 4 equals 80. Okay. If I tell you to add these two numbers, okay. So let's print user age 2 plus user age 4. What do you think we'll get?
120.
Yeah, you get 120. So let's try it. Sorry, I'll run module F5. Yeah, exactly. So you get 120. Okay. So the plus does the same plus that we know from different things. What if I try to add username? Okay, so let's do one more thing. Here, let me add another username. User name. No, Atkins. Yeah. So you see here, I put double quotes. So you can use single quote or double quotes most of the time. So now let me try to add username and surname. User. So what do you think I will get for this?
Atkins. Atkins.
What?
Peter Atkins.
So when you use plus for this, you just put the 2 things together without a space. So I run. You see, so just give me Peter Atkins without any space. We put the 2 together. We call it a concatenation.
Put space.
Yeah, with strings. Plus means we should put them together with strings. This one, the same symbol plus, but it means add with 2 integers. Okay.
If you want to put a space, what do you do? Hello?
Yeah, if you want to put a space, oh, okay, I'll cheat. Okay, let's put a space. I'll cheat. So let's say username 2 equals Peter. You see, I put a space after Peter. There's a space here now. Do you see? Do you understand?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We understand.
Yeah, sure.
So I put this space here. So now if I print username 2,
yeah, we understand.
It will give me. Okay, good. So if I do this now, it will give me, sorry, username 2. So the space is part of the string, and I do F5. So you see the first one just say Peter Atkins. The second one is Peter Atkins. So there's a space because I put the space in Atkins. I think, sorry, Peter, I think you can put the space in Atkins also. Okay, so I can say user surname 2 equals Atkins. So let's try it. So, two by username F5, and both of them give me the same one thing. Because in the first case, I put the space after Peter. In the second case, I put the space before Atkins. Okay. So you can do that. Okay. So this string has some has some methods attached to it. Okay. So once you declare something like this, then this username is an object. Okay. So you know, when you do this like Peter, this that you have done returns an object. This object you put in username. So when you declare a string this way, Peter, it returns an object. This object you put in username. The object is like maybe a remote. You can think of an object as anything, maybe a touchlight, a remote, just an object. But the object has different functions. So for instance, your remote control, you can press to increase the volume or decrease the volume. But it's the same remote. So in the same way, this username equals Peter. Sorry, this Peter in quote returns an object, which is a username. And that username actually has different attributes. Sorry, has different, what attributes? Has different functions. Those functions, we call them methods. What I mean is, you see, okay, if I do username, I think it's control. There are different methods that are linked with this username. And these different methods, you can use it. Okay, we'll do it later. So it's better we do it later rather than. So for instance, I can turn everything into an uppercase. I can, yeah. Let me see. I think I do this. Okay. So let's print this. We'll do this later, but okay, I'll show you just that username is an object and it returns many things. Yeah, so you see, I turned it into an uppercase. Okay. So once you do this, Peter, okay, once you do this like this string Peter returns an object. That object has different methods attached to it. One of the methods is upper, that turns everything to an uppercase. This username.upper is also an object. Okay. Okay, but we get to know all this later on. So let's continue with some of this one. So the next thing I want you to know is you can format strings using the %operator. Okay, let me look at the time. Okay, I think we have time. So the way you do it is this. You take the string to be formatted. I'll give an example, and then you understand what I mean. And then you put the variables, sorry, values of variables. Inserted, separated by commas. Okay, so I'll give you an example of what I mean. So you write the string to be formatted, okay? Then you put %, and then the variables or values of variables to be inserted, separated by commas. Okay. So I'll explain what I mean to you. Okay. So let's declare a string. I call the string apple. Let's declare an exchange rate. Let's just call it rate, EX rate. So this exchange rate is to convert from USD to dollars. Sorry, from dollars to euros. Let's say it's 1.25. Okay, and then I'm going to give a message now. Just be patient. Later you'll see what I'm doing. So I start with a string. So I start with the string to be formatted. Okay, then I'm going to put a % after, and I'm going to put the values of variables to be inserted. Sorry, this is not a It's good for you to see this because later on when you read programs, some people use this of this. So %s laptop is I'll explain everything just now, so please be patient. Let's just. So I put everything in this string to be formatted. Then I'll put a %, which I'll put now. And then the variables, I'll put them now. So I'll explain just now, brand, exchange rate. And let's move on to exchange rate. Okay. Sorry, I want to put them keep everything on the same line. Okay, so let's start. So what I've written here is I wrote the price of this something laptop. So I want to write this message for different brands. So I'm going to write the price of this brand of laptop is this price USD, and the exchange rate is this USD to €1. Okay. So I'm going to run it, and then I'm going to explain to you what is happening. Let me see. Sorry, I need to print the message. I do F5. Okay. So one of the things you see, so it has printed the price of this Apple laptop is 1300 USD. The exchange rate is this to €1. I can now change what I have. I can put the same message and change this. I'll leave everything. The only thing I will change now is I can change the brand. I can change the brand, and I can change the price or different things. This is only just useful mainly when you want to do formatting. Okay, I'll show you a particular case where it's nice to use it to make everything look nice when you want to print. Okay? So this is the main use of this. When you want to print, it's good to use this kind of thing to print something. So at this point, you may feel like it's not necessary, but later on you see that it's useful to be able to use this to print. Okay. Later on, I'll come back to this formatting strings using this % operator. If you don't get it now, just watch the video again or just keep it. It's not something that's very crucial that we need to know. Okay. So what I want to move on to now is typecasting. So now this part is important, typecasting. What do we mean by this? You know, okay, let's declare user age. I don't know. Okay. So if I do this user age 40, this is a string, right? Right?
Okay.
Yeah. And then if I do, what else can I do? User, let's say user age 1 is 40, user age 2 is 30. Okay. So the first one is a string, the second one is not a string. The second one is an integer. Okay.
Yes.
If you want to add them together, if you want to add them together, you see you get a problem. So let's run this program. So I put add2 is a new variable, which is user age 1 plus user age 2. So let's add them together. You see, there's a problem. User age 1 is a string, user age 2 is not a string. So the interpreter sees plus, so it thinks since this one is a string, it expects the other one to be a string, and if it's not a string, it gives an error that you can only concatenate string, not int to string. So the first one is a string, and then you want to cut it. It expects the second one to be a string. It's not a string, then it gives an error.
Okay.
Yeah. So it expects them to be the same type before you can add them. What if I decide to do age2 plus age 1, user age 1? You see, the first one here is an integer, the second one is a string. Again, okay, so let's look at it. Ouch. Sorry. Okay. So in this case now, you say it says user age 2 plus user age 1. Unsupported operand type for plus. Int, that's the first one, and string, the second one. Okay. In this first error, it tells us that you cannot cut a string and an integer because it knows the first one is a string. The next one is expected to be a string also. So you cannot cut them. So what can I do so that I'm able to add these two things together? Okay. So of course, one thing I can do is I can say the first add to one is user age2. This is a integer, and then I can change this other one to an integer. Okay. So this is typecasting. You cast the type from one type to another type. Okay. Does everybody understand this? So user age2 is an integer. User age1 is a string, but I convert the string to an integer using int. Okay. Now, if I run this one, this runs and there's no problem. Okay. Now I can do print add to 1. Okay. So it's going to add user age2, which is 30. This user age1 was a string, but now I've converted it to an integer. So it's going to add both of them together, and then there will be no problem. And at the end, it's going to print what for me?
It will print 70 now, right?
Yeah, exactly, to print 70. So let's do it. Yeah. So you see it printed 70 for us, and there's no error. Because I changed the type. We call it typecasting. Let's do another one. Yeah. Add 2. Okay. We can also change it from, so this is user, let's make this a string.
Hello.
Yeah. So user age2 before was an integer, but now I make it a string. I add it to user age1, which is already a string. If you make a string, it still remains a string. And then I print both of them. I print add 2. So you see what this will do. User age2 was an integer. Now I make it a string by using this string. User age1 is already a string. I use the plus, so it's going to add 2 strings together. So what do you predict we are going to get?
It will give 70.
No.
So
No, it should
it's
be
going
40,
to be
30.
40-30.
40-30.
Exactly.
40
Wow.
plus 30.
No,
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 it's
just 40-30. Just
40-30
No,
40.
no, it's
without
70,
space.
70.
No
no, it
plus.
took you
No,
70.
no, it will be 30
Concatenation,
plus 40.
concatenation.
Yeah.
40 plus 30.
No, it
No,
took
40
you
plus
Oh,
40
there
plus
30.
won't
30.
be plus.
Right.
40,
40.
it should be 30, it should be 30, 40. 30,
Yeah, it took
40.
you
It
we are
should
exactly.
be
going to have
30-40.
30-40 without
Okay, it will be
space.
3040.
Yes.
3040.
Exactly. 3040.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly. So let's try it now. Okay. So F5. Exactly. So this 70 is the first one, and then 3040 is the second one.
Yes.
Okay, 30-40.
Yeah, so user H2 is the integer, but I changed it to a string. And then this top now is concatenating one string with another string. Now print it and you put 3040.
Okay, can I ask a question?
Yes.
Can you convert, assuming that what we have in the string is characters, that's alphabet. Can you convert it? Can you convert it to integer?
Sometimes you can, sometimes you cannot. So no, if it's alphabet, no, you cannot in general. If it's alphabet, you cannot.
Okay.
This one works because there's a string and then you can convert it. But
It
if
is a number. Okay.
Yeah, if it's alphabet, you cannot. So for instance, if I say
user age 3, okay.
Let's do greeting is hello. Okay. And then I say print. You see, I try to convert it to greeting to an integer.
Yes.
Okay. Actually, I don't even have to do this. If you just say int greeting, let's try this. If I say integer greeting, it doesn't know what to do, so it's going to give you an error.
Okay.
So you can't just, yeah. So let's do F5.
Okay.
Okay.
It doesn't know what to do. How do you want me to convert? Yeah, but if I do something like greeting 2 equals 39 or 1299, and I do int greeting 2, let's make it into something here. So let's say b equals int greeting 2, and we say print b. It won't complain, but I have to comment out this one because this one will give an error and then it will stop. So I comment out this one. So greeting 2, because it's 1299, it knows how to convert it. So it's going to convert it. So you see converted, and there's no error whatsoever. But in the first place, there's an error because it doesn't know how do I convert it? Okay. So it works only when it's clear how to convert it. You can convert many things to strings, but the opposite is not always something you can do. So many things you can convert to string, but the opposite, converting string to different integer or float, is something that you may not be able to do all the time. So we should go on now to list.
List.
Yes. Okay. So we go on to list, and then after that, we go on to tuples, and after that, we go on to. Okay. So we do list now. We now go on to tuples. I'm writing this in case you don't have time, so you can read it before tomorrow, and then we go on to dictionaries. Okay. So the usual way to introduce this is list. Let's say I have user 1 age, his age is 30. I have user 2 age is 35. I have 1 million of them. Am I going to be writing all the 1 million like this?
No, you just list them out.
Okay. Yes, we can list them out, but there's a better way. Yeah, there's a better way to do it. You want to do something that will make you spend a lot of effort writing your code each time. So instead of doing all this, we prefer to use a list. Okay, let me do it all the way to. Okay, so we have 50 of them. So what we do now is instead of writing all of them, you can use a list. The way you make a list is you write. So you create a list. Oh, why did you use IPython? Yeah, from tomorrow or the day after, we'll start using IPython. Because I think Jupyter is like half a gig, and I'm not sure. I wasn't sure everybody would have downloaded it by the time we started. So I decided
we've gotten the Anaconda. Anaconda has been downloaded.
Yes, yes. So from tomorrow we will start. We will start with Anaconda since many people are already.
And it contains Jupyter.
Yes, it contains Jupyter and many of the scientific packages that we need, and also many of the things we need for machine learning. Yeah. Yeah. So the way we create a list is by writing the name of the list, and then you put square brackets, and inside the square brackets you put the initial values separated by commas. So I'm going to give an example. So with this user age, I can do user age, okay, and I can put all these ages in here separated by commas. So 30, 35, 40, 47, 50. So in this case, if I want user age 1, I will just say user age 1. Sorry, yeah, age 1. Okay, in Python and C, the first one is 0, is index 0, so it's not index 1. The second one is index 1, then index 2, index 3. So programs like C and Python, they start counting from 0. So this is index 0, so don't forget that. The next one is index 1, then this is index 2, and this is index 3, and this is index 4. So don't forget that this is very important. So if I say print user age 1, it's going to print now 35. It doesn't start, and then if I want to print 30, this one, I have to say print user age 0. Okay. Okay, so if you do this now, it's going to print user age 1, which is 35. Okay, and then let's print the last one. This is user age 4. Okay. So let's print user age 1 and print user age 4. So I run it with F5. So you see it printed 35, and then it printed 50. Actually, let me put a space in between so that you know. So I'll print a space, and I'll print another space, and then I'll print stars. So it separates what we did before from this one. So if I do F5, yeah. So this is 35, and this is 50. This is user age 1, and this is user age 4. User age 0, we didn't print it. User age 0 is exactly 30. So if you like, we can print it also. So remember, it starts counting from 0. And you denote each element by a braces like this. So this will print 30 for us. Okay. Okay, so these are common ones. The other thing is you can also start counting from behind. Okay, if you have a list, so this is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. If you have a list, you can also start counting from behind. So when you count from behind, this is -1. Okay, this one is -2. Sorry. Okay. This one is -3. This is -4. Sorry. So let's print user age 0 and comma user age -5. Okay. I save and I print. Okay, so you see, it's printed 30 twice, and I was able to get 30 in 2 ways. Okay. Because this one now is user age -5. Okay. So sometimes you want to print the first item in the list, it's just 0, user age 0. Sometimes you don't even know the length of the list, and you want to print the last item. So you use user age -1. Okay. This that I gave to you is a use that nobody actually uses. Yes. But to print the last item, you just do print user age -1. And that will give you the last item on the list. No matter how long the list is, -1 is always the last. Okay. And then -2 is the next to the last. Okay. And on like that. Okay. So this will print the last item for us. So let's run it again. So you see, -1 prints the last one. If I were to add something else, I don't want to add something else. Okay, let's add something else. So what I'm doing now is, okay, let's add something else. And I'll show you how to add something else. The way to add something else and keep the same list is to use the append function. By using the append function. So you take the name of the list, you use the append function, and then what do I want to append? So the next one, user age 6, I want it to be 55. So I append 55. But see, I append 55 as an integer. Okay. Okay. So now, at this point, if you like, you can find the length of user age. I think this works. This is a function that helps you to find, print the length of user age. User age. So I'm going to print it. Sys size of user age. Okay, so I'm going to print the length. And here also, I'm going to print the length also after I've added something to it. Sorry, we are over time, but I'll do maybe 2 more things. Okay. After we've added something to it, I'll print it. And then now I'm going to print user age itself. So I'll add 1 more item to it, another item, and then I'll print user age. So let's do F5. Okay. So in the beginning, the size of user age is 5 because there are 5 elements in it, elements 0 to 4. We did all of this. Then I appended something to it, this 55. I asked for the size of the user age is 6, and then it printed everything up to item 55. Okay. And actually, you can add anything to it. You see, I can append to user age. Instead of appending a number, I can append this a string, time to go. And then I can now print the whole array, or the whole list, sorry. So I appended time to go, and now I do the whole array. So F5, let's see. Okay, so you see, the initial array, this one is there. The one I appended is time to go. Okay, so it doesn't have to be the same type. You can put together a list of different types. Some can be integers, some can be anything. So you put everything together. Okay. Okay, I've taken 4 minutes of your time. Give me an extra 4 minutes and then we'll end. Okay. So I've told you how to add to the list. It will be incomplete if I don't tell you how to remove from the list. Okay. To remove from the list, you can remove a particular item. Okay. So for instance, this is 0, 1, 2, 3. Let's say I want to delete this 47 from the list. So I can do it. I can delete exactly which item I want to delete. And then, okay, so that's 0, 1, 2, 3. Okay, so I'll do del user age. And then the item I want to delete is item 3. Remember, I count from the first one is 0. Okay, so I delete the item with index 3 from the user age, and then I'll print user age. And then you see that item with index 3 has been deleted. Okay, you see, in this last line, 47 is no more there because item number index 3 is 47. So this is 30 is 0, and then this is 1, and then this is 2, and then 47 is index 3. So I deleted it. Okay. Okay, we'll continue from here tomorrow because actually, yeah, we'll continue from here tomorrow because you can make it slices. Okay. You can make slices because, oh, okay. So this is how to delete an index. Append, I'll leave that. Yeah, so we'll continue from here tomorrow, so I don't take a lot of time. So we'll finish up with list. You can change the value of something in a list. We'll show what to do tomorrow. You can take slices of the list. We'll show how to do that tomorrow. And then after that, we'll start with tuples, and then we'll go on to dictionaries. And after dictionaries, we'll go on to making your program interactive. So I think we can do all that tomorrow. Okay, so I think we stop here. Okay, sure. So I'm going to send this file to you, and also the recording later on I'll send to everybody. Okay. If you have any questions, you can email. I'll take a look at your answers also that you sent to me. Yeah. Okay. So all the best. Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks, Yoma.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. God bless you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.